Hello, everyone. If you can hear me, go ahead and write that in the chat. If you can hear me okay, go ahead and type that into the chat. Okay, perfect, perfect. We will be getting started here in just a moment. It's been a very, very busy day, but we are excited to share this information with you. This is something that Mark and myself have both gone through these questions, and we continue to go through these questions on a very, very consistent basis because this is the foundation of wealth creation, right? It is about asking questions um, because the answers are going to provide you the clarity. And I believe that clarity is power, but it's going to give you that insight. It's going to allow you to go deeper, if you will, into actually providing value and leaving a legacy in the world today. So we're going to get started here in just a few moments. We're running just a minute behind. We've just been going, when I say nonstop, we have been going nonstop. So Mark just finished shooting some additional content. And we've been working on the software and a whole bunch of different things for you guys. So we will be getting started in about 1 minute. And we will be getting started here, everyone, in about 30 more seconds here. We will be getting started.
Hey, Bishop.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Bishop. I'm here. Sorry for the delay.
Oh, no problem. No problem at all. Everyone, can you guys still hear us okay? Can you guys see us and hear us okay? Please let us know. Why? Hold on 1 second. One second, Mark. I just realized that my son
Yeah.
um, changed my light to yellow, so everything was yellow. Was yellow. Okay. Perfect. Okay, much, much better. Okay, Mark. So everyone, again, here we are for this next episode of the Wealth Edge, and again, the feedback that we have been getting from this has been absolutely phenomenal. I love getting the feedback and hearing from each and every one of you about what you're getting from attending these sessions that we're doing each and every Friday. If this is your first time, welcome. I do see a couple of new names here. So if this is your first time joining us, we appreciate you guys joining us. And this is something that Mark and I take very seriously. We're very passionate about helping each and every one of you change your lives. And I was telling them, Mark, that you were running around nonstop. I've been running around nonstop, preparing more value for them.
Yes, absolutely. And apologies to everyone for being late on the show today. I was actually just completing a video about the new software that's coming out, the Prosperity Power software. I was getting very, very excited. And Bishop, you'll be glad to know that that first video recording is ready. So we're just waiting from the team, from the developers, to put the finishing touches on the software. We can't wait to share this with you. But today we have something else that we'd love to share with you, and it's called 46 Questions That Make You Rich. You know, it's a well-known fact. It's almost a it's a well-known trope in the field of personal development that to change your life, to transform your thinking, you need to ask yourself a better set of questions. So over the last 20 years, I've collected all these different questions that help people transform their mindsets around abundance. but also a series of questions that help entrepreneurs get more out of their business. Let's see if I can share this 1 second. I want to share. I'm going to go straight into it, Bishop, and share my screen.
Yes.
Okay, okay. What I'm sharing with you here is the Wealth Magnetics course. Now, most of you probably have access to this course, either because you're a coaching client of ours or because you have accessed it as a bonus together with the Unleash the Millionaire Within course, or perhaps because you attended the Spiritual Codes of Wealth Summit. I believe it was one of the bonuses for people who bought the lifetime VIP access pass to the summit, my Wealth Magnetics course. 24 powerful processes for attracting more money and abundance. And I'm mentioning this because you'll see on the bottom left here, one of the sections of this course is what we'll be sharing with you today, 46 questions that make you rich. Now, Bishop and I are very passionate about helping people access more of themselves, access more of who they are, what they came to this earth to do, what is their purpose and mission. It's kind of like what John DeMartini says. He says that if you want to make more money, if you want to have more abundance and more happiness in your life, he says that one of the best ways, well, we all know money is nothing but the measure of the value you create for other people. Create more value for more people and more abundance will flow your way. Great, but how do you access those ideas on how you can create more value for people? Well, this is what these 46 questions that make you rich are about. And like John DeMartini says, when you share your values, what's most valuable to you, you create the maximum amount of value for others. So these questions, by helping you identify what is valuable to you and what you can create that's valuable, will allow you to create maximum value for others. And the reward for that, the reward of that, is that you attract more abundance into your life. So there's two sections what I'm going to share with you today, what we're going to share with you. One is these questions to identify areas where you can create value and add value to others. And the second one is if you already have a business, I will share with you some questions, some of my favorite questions on how you can grow your business or do more with your business. So on that note, I'm going to click out of this and share a little bit of this. So this is from Wealth Magnetics, 46 questions that make you rich. Bishop, shall I just go into it, or did you want to add something before we begin?
No, yeah, I'll be popping in. I'm excited about today's session. Yeah, let's just go right into it.
Awesome. And so, okay, great. So this is a section from the course. And I started by saying that instead of asking yourself how you can make more money, ask yourself what other people want, what problems other people have, and what solutions other people would pay good money for. You see, if you're asking yourself, how can I make more money? The focus of that question is you. It's on you. It is a selfish quest. It's about how can I get more, basically. No one will give you money just because you want money. They'll give you money in exchange for something, maybe even in exchange for them feeling good about giving you money, but it's in exchange for something. Typically in exchange for goods or services that you'll provide them. It's all about what's in it for them, what they are interested in. So by asking yourself a quality question such as, what problems do people have? What solutions do people need? You're on your way to winning the game of money. You are already thinking like a millionaire. You're thinking like an entrepreneur. Rather than thinking like most people out there who are perhaps too lazy or greedy or self-centered, or maybe simply they've never thought about it this way, to do what it really takes to become wealthy. So when I started out some 20 years ago, I grew up in this environment where my father, as a journalist, would say, the only way to get rich is to bribe the government, or rich people are greedy, evil, exploitative. They have the money, and we are good people. That is why we have no money, and things of that nature. So his idea was that they have the money, and the only way to get rich is you got to take it from them, or something to that effect. And so I grew up thinking, well, I want to be rich. I want to be more comfortable in life. I don't like being a security guard earning £3.50 an hour like I did for 2 years. I really hate my job in telesales. That was the second job I did after being a security guard. And I realized that my questions were always about me and my problems. How can I overcome my depression? How can I get more of this? How can I get more of that? And one day I sat down. I was living in this abandoned building, in this derelict building on Earl's Court Road in London. And I took my journal and I started asking myself a better quality of question. What I asked myself was, what do people want? What problems do people have? What solutions are people looking for? What are some common problems or inconveniences they have that they experience? What are some common problems that companies and businesses experience? What do people buy? What do people buy a lot of right now? What sells well? What are other people selling successfully right now? And then another series of questions. What problems do I like solving for people? What group of people do I want to help? How would I like to help other people? How can I add value to other people's lives? And every day I would ask myself this question: how may I serve? How may I serve? How may I serve? Later, I got more into spirituality. I would ask God, how may I serve? How may I serve God? How may I serve God? What do I really love doing? And then how can I make a living at it? How can I make people's lives better? How can I do what I love doing and be magnificently paid for it? So when I did this, I was able to complete an exercise. One of the exercises I did was I wrote down 100 reasons why I must earn £2,000 a month. Why it's an absolute must that I earn £2,000 a month. I'd never earned more than £1,000 a month. And the second thing that I did is I brainstormed 100 ways how to add value to create an income of £2,000 a month. And these exercises, these questions rather, helped me to complete that exercise, to come up with 100 ways how. The 93rd way that I put on the list was to write an ebook and sell it online. Because somebody that was sitting next to me at a seminar a few months prior to that, he was making £2,000 a month selling an ebook about bronchitis. And at the time when he told me, I thought, oh, maybe this guy could give me a job sometime. I wasn't thinking like an entrepreneur. But when I did this exercise, 100 ways how to make £2,000 a month, I wrote down 100 of these ideas. And when I did that, it transformed my thinking. I started seeing opportunities everywhere. I started connecting the dots. I started connecting what I was seeing out there. When I would go out in the world and see a problem, or something incomplete, or something that was annoying to people, instead of just passing by it, my brain that was constantly looking for ways to complete that exercise, the 100 ways how exercise, my brain would make new connections. Hey, if I could bring this company and these people together, they could provide a solution for that. How could I build that around build a business around this? How could I do these different things and create value? I mean, these are just a few of the questions. In the document, you have 46 questions like this. I'll continue with some of them here. If I had no limitations, 20 million euros in the bank, and I knew I could not fail, maybe 20 million pounds or $20 million, depending on where you are. If I had no limitation, 20 million in the bank, and I knew I could not fail, what would I love to be doing right now? And sure, you'll write down about some holidays and some things you want to buy, etc. But right after that, what would you love to do for people? You can ask yourself, what am I an expert at? What do I know more about than most people? What will people pay me or pay for that I can easily and happily provide them with? What would I love to create that people would love to give me money for? What would I love to create that people would give me money for? What kind of event or experience would I like to create for people? We have many more questions like this, Bishop. I'll go back to this document in a moment. Is there anything that you would like to add, Bishop, about the power of quality questions, asking yourself quality questions?
Yeah, the thing that I love about asking yourself these kind of quality questions is because it allows you to go deeper into again what value can really provide the world, right? It allows you to go, because remember we're talking about the subconscious here, right? In almost everything that we're talking about. This allows you to go away from surface level to really to start understand. One, these questions are also going to help you identify what your purpose is here, right? Most people live their entire lives without ever really discovering what their purpose is. And I believe part of that is because they don't ask quality questions, right? They don't ask the questions that really provide them to go deeper. It's kind of like if you look at any relationship, right? My wife and I was up the other night talking to someone who's going through some kind of a marital issue. And when I was talking to her, I was asking both of them, have you guys ever asked each other these questions, certain kind of questions? And they never have. They've never asked each other deep questions. So now they're wondering 10 years later why there's a disconnect, why they're growing apart. Why does it seem like they don't really have a deep relationship? It's because they never talked. They never really asked the hard questions. They never really said, "Hey, what is it that really makes you happy? What is it that really makes you satisfied? What is it that I can do better?" Right? And again, these are the kind of questions Mark and I are talking about. How can you serve more? Most people never ask those kind of questions. How can I provide more value? How can I serve more? Every single day that I get up, and Mark knows about this because we've talked about this before, I always ask, God, how can we co-create today? What can we co-create together? Meaning, what kind of value can I go out and provide the world today? Like this live stream that we're doing right now is a result of me and Mark asking those kind of questions, right? How can we provide more value for our audience? How can we continue to provide them on a consistent basis tools and systems and resources that can better their lives? So I was telling Mark 2 nights ago, I was up with an individual who's really, really brilliant at doing some ads and different things like that. And we were talking about different courses because there's all kinds of courses people are asking me to create and do. And we went through these exercises and we had a list of about 10 different things that I can create courses on with right now. And then one of them, as we started diving deeper, came to AI, right? That's a big thing that people are trying to figure out right now. That's something that there's a need for. People have a fear of missing out. People know that they're going to be left behind. People are confused. People are scared. One of the things we realize is some people are afraid of AI, right? Because they don't understand it. Is it going to take over the world? Is it going to do all this kind of stuff? And so we honed in on that when I originally was going to create a course on some other things, but then we really, really zeroed in on the AI because we went through questions, because we realized this is something that can really provide the massive amount of value for people in the marketplace. And so I strongly advise that you take some time this weekend. Um, to really sit and list out some of these questions and really do some thinking. And if you're confused, one thing that I've learned is ask people around you, ask your spouse, ask your friends, ask different people around you some of these questions as well, and they'll give you some surprising answers to some of these questions. And I think you're going to start identifying like, oh wow, I thought I wanted to go this way, but now I'm going to go this way. For example, Imelda, who's on here right now, she originally was going one way with her brand and what she was working on. And I started going through questions with her about this. What do people really need right now? What is the real value add? Yeah, you might be excited about this is that, but what is it? It's not about you. It's about the people. What can you really provide for them that will absolutely give them a transformation? Right? So let me ask you guys right now, how many of you here, I want you to write in the chat, what does it mean when someone says that they like you? In the chat, I want you to write, what does it mean when someone says that they like you? And there's a reason I'm asking this. What does it mean when someone says that they like you? And so to identify that, one of the things that I like is that when someone says that they like you, and this is such a groundbreaking thing. It's so simple, but it's so powerful. When someone says that they like you, what they're really saying is they like the way they feel about themselves when they're around you. They like the way they feel about themselves when they are around you. Again, it's not about you. It's not about you whatsoever. It's about how you're making them feel. Everyone wants to get some kind of value. Everyone is in it for how can this experience help me in my life get to the goals and the God-given mission that I have for myself. So a lot of you think that when people say they like you, it's, oh, I'm so cool and I'm so amazing. No, it's not even about you. It's about how do they feel when they are around you. So the question is, how does your clients feel when they come around you? How do your audience feel when they opt into your funnel? Right? What experience are you giving them? What emotions are they leaving with? This is why I love when we get feedback from you guys and you guys start messaging me on WhatsApp and different things about the streams that we're doing, and you guys are telling me how impactful they are, right? So that's why you guys are joining every week, is because of the way you feel when you guys are around and experiencing this.
That's great, Bishop. Thank you. And you know what this topic reminds me of is the idea of ask and it is given. You know,
Mhm.
knock and the door shall open. Um, because I believe we live in a world of ask and it is given. It's one of these spiritual laws that exist. We get so much support, I believe, from a higher power, and but most people don't know how to use these quality questions to transform their life. So instead of asking the question, how can I get rich or how can I make money, which is a terrible question,
Yeah,
ask
it's really.
yourself instead, how may I serve? How may I serve? Okay, how may I serve? Or here's a great, very high quality question. What, dear God, what would it take for me to experience more abundance than ever before? What would it take for me to help more people than ever before? What would it take for me to reach more people than ever before? Because guess what? You start asking yourself, asking these kinds of quality questions, answers will start appearing. Answers will start flooding, and maybe not the first second, maybe not the first day, but ask and you shall be given. Ask, and those answers will start flooding into your life. And for example, when I started asking, how can I experience? What would it take for more experience than ever before for me to experience more abundance than ever before? Well, guess what? Certain experiences started appearing in my life. Certain courses, certain teachings, certain spiritual teachings started appearing in my life. And when you ask, what would it take? And then you might even say, and please, anything in the way of that, this is something from Christy Marie Sheldon, anything in the way of that happening, please uncreate, destroy, delete. Um, uh, I need to remember exactly how it goes. Anything in the way of that happening, please uncreate, delete, destroy across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Right? This is a little formula that Christy Marie Sheldon talks about. But dear God, what would it take for me to help 100,000 people? What would it take for Bishop and myself to help 10 million people live a life of prosperity? Diana said, I love Christy's work. I love Christy Marie Sheldon. Absolutely. Absolutely. These are quality questions. How can I experience more abundance than ever before? How can I help more people than ever before? Ask and it is given. Ask these kinds of questions like, how may I serve? And you'll get a different set of answers. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back 1 second to the document. Wait, not sure if people can see my screen right now. Let me try this.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So we're going to continue with some of these questions. Okay. What kind of event or experience would I like to create for people? What are my skills and abilities? What do I do better than most people? What have I accomplished in my life that other people respect or admire me for? What things do I have that other people would love to have? What do I currently do for free that people are willing to pay me for? Who can I partner with to make this all happen easily and effortlessly? What are the ways that I most easily and enjoyably reach financial freedom? What are ways that I can most easily and enjoyably use to reach financial freedom? Who do I know that's making a mint right now, that's making a lot of money right now? What businesses are growing and expanding massively? Who do I know who is successful and that I can partner with? Who could I partner with? Another question here. If you woke up one morning with 10,000 euros or 10,000 pounds in your pocket, or 100 grand in your pocket, how would you double your money? And once you've doubled your money, how would you double it again? Again, this is a quality question to ask yourself as an entrepreneur and an investor. What business model is successful right now, maybe in a different country, and whose concept I can emulate? What products do I love but are under-marketed and no one has heard about? How can I add value to this product? How can I bring it to a different country? How can I make an improvement to a product that already sells well? Bishop, I wanted to ask you the question. When you came to a point in your life that you had your first big success, but then that went away and you had to start all over again, do you remember what kinds of questions you were asking yourself? I remember a great story you shared about how a relationship ended, but you were sad for a little while, but you knew that it's fine because God has already created the perfect solution for me right now. And it turns out that your friend Ruth, who was born on the same day as you're born, same birthday, literally, God had already created that perfect package, perfect solution for you. And I know that you had a lot of faith, but were there any specific questions you were asking yourself to start turning things around?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I didn't know I was going to talk about this story today, but so this brings back a lot of memories. But yes, there was a time like a lot of entrepreneurs, you have your ups, you have your downs, and this was a very, I don't want to say a dark time because it also led me to where I am today, right? So this was a time when lost everything. I was in a very, very deep relationship, which had to come to an end. Just like some people, you discover things, and that relationship had to come to an end. But at the same time, due to that situation, I also had to stop the business that I had. I had a multi-million-dollar business, had to stop that business and start everything from square one, right? By myself, and I had no business, had no partner, no anything. And during that time, first of all, I started associating money with pain, and so I was pushing money away from me. So some of the questions that because everything I tried for a while didn't work. And so what I did was I started to ask these questions again. I started to ask, well, what is it that one is really going to provide value for people again? How can I provide value in the marketplace? Another question I asked that I think is really important too for a self respective standpoint is how did I contribute to this situation, right? Because accountability is the mother of all change, right? Every transformation starts with accountability. So I started looking at it, I was like, okay, I was in this situation. Yes, this person did this, this, and this to me, but how did I contribute? What was I not looking at? And what was I not asking? What was I not paying attention to? Yes, because at the end of the day, you chose the person, right? So you also got to look at, what did I overlook? And now that we're talking about this, Mark, one thing that's interesting is I also didn't ask certain questions of this person and dive deeper. That would have probably saved me a lot of headache. So I started asking, how can I provide more value? What do people need right now, currently? And I started calling friends like, hey, what are you doing right now? Is there any way I can provide value for you? Oh, so and so, my a friend of mine, she said her cousin has a business in the medical industry. And I was like, oh, okay, is he in any kind of need? How's the business going? And they told me what the need was. And I actually came up with a solution for that and started making money again. And just like Mark said, I asked the question, okay, here's his problem. What is the solution for his problem? And then I went deeper. How do I provide that solution efficiently and effectively? Because at that particular time, I was not a master at it. So I said, okay, I can go out and hire these people to provide the solution. I'm the middle person connecting everything, right? So I started asking deeper and deeper questions. And then I said, well, after we provided the immediate solution, I said, well, long term, what do you need? How does it affect you if you got X, Y, and Z? What do you need long term? And then that turned into a continuity model. All of a sudden, I was back to making $15,000 a month with just one client because I started asking all these questions. I was at the gym and I saw some ladies kept watching me because I used to do a lot of mixed martial arts, and I asked them a question. Hey, what do you guys? I see you guys watching the mixed martial arts all the time. What do you do? What do you here at the gym doing? And they told me, oh, we're just trying to get in shape for an event. And I said, I can help you guys. I can coach you guys in mixed martial arts for your event. And they instantly went to their car, true story, went to their car, wrote checks for me. I was not even a trainer, wrote checks, and I made money by asking questions. What can I do for you? What are your pain points? Right? The better you get at discovering people's frustrations, the more value you're going to make and the more money you're going to make in the world. It's not about you. It's about how can I provide uh, solutions for people? How can I help them with their pain points? Right? Because people will always move away from pleasure, away from pain towards pleasure. If you could provide the pleasure, which is more money, more peace, more happiness, more clients, more whatever it is that they're looking for, right? More weight loss, then you have a good business. So the fastest way to wealth isn't chasing money; it's chasing impact. It's chasing impact. How can I impact more people today? Right. So if you're waking up every day and you realize you wake up, you go to sleep, and you're like, did I really ask yourself this every night? Did I really impact anyone today? Did I affect anyone's life today? If the answer is no, then you shouldn't question why your business isn't growing or your bank account isn't growing, right? If you're just staying there in your house and you're not out aggressively seeking people to help, then your business, you're dreaming. Your business will never grow to the level that you want it to. And if you just make a lot of money suddenly, you're still not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to be fulfilled. Every day, did I help anyone today? Did I impact anyone's life? So write that down. Wealth isn't about chasing money, it's chasing impact.
And Bishop, you mentioned about asking yourself that question at night before going to bed. One of the techniques that I love to share with people and I love to use is what they call the Edison pad technique. You from Thomas Edison, the inventor. He would write down a quality question on the side of his bed, on his bedside table, before going to bed, asking for an answer, a solution to a specific problem, maybe an engineering problem of some sort. And I recommend to people, like, ask this, write down on a notepad next to your bed before going to bed, before going to sleep. Ask yourself, what is my breakthrough new idea? What is my breakthrough new business idea? What is my breakthrough new $1 million idea? That's a pretty good question to ask, okay? Or simply, how may I serve, God? How may I serve? How may I serve? And an answer will come to you. Now, this is a bit of a weird story, what I'm about to share, but so I met this gentleman, he's from Wales, and he does energy clearing. So if you've got a lot of spirits, negative spirits or negative energies kind of attached to you for whatever reason, for example, when people go and spend too much time in cemeteries, I know this sounds weird, I know it sounds, but some pretty heavy energies might get attached to you, he says. Well, anyway, we're having this conversation. He was doing his stuff, and he said to me at some point, he said to me that when you start asking new questions, when you start going in a new direction, let's say you were an actor, and now you're becoming an entrepreneur. He says, well, what happens is, okay, you're having a shift in your direction in life. A lot of spiritual guides, positive spiritual guides that were helping you with your acting career, well, they're going to kind of take a step back, and new spiritual guides will come who are more of a business helping slant. And he explained that that takes a little while. That takes maybe a few weeks or a few months for that adjustment to happen. But then you start receiving more help and more guidance, since you're showing that you're very committed on this new path. And so you will start getting answers. If you do this every evening, you write down a quality question about a specific topic, well, you're giving an opportunity for God, for the divine, for angels, call it what you will, to come and help you. And I know how this sounds. If this isn't your type of belief, that's fine as well. Call it your subconscious mind. Your subconscious will keep firing away and working away to come up and make the right connections to give you the right answers. Now, I want to share with you a few more of these questions, and then we'll pivot into questions for a business. And then I want to share with you a little bit about what I recorded today about this Prosperity Power software. Because like Bishop mentioned earlier, we're talking here at Wealth Magnetics. We always say that spirituality and mindset is where it's at. And as Bishop said earlier, it's all about the subconscious. It's all about reprogramming your subconscious to be somebody who can have massive success. Because imagine you spend the time, like Bishop suggested, that you take the time this weekend to answer these questions and see what comes up. The next thing, though, you need to have that identity, that confidence, that inner power to really go for it, to really powerfully implement at least one of these ideas that you come up with and create a new business, start adding value to people, maybe become a speaker, maybe become an author, a business partner, or whatever, an investor. So I'll share with you a little bit about this software in a moment to create that inner alignment, to have all parts of your mind, all parts of your brain working together so that you're unstoppable towards your goal. But let me just share with you a few more of these questions here. Okay, a few more questions, quality questions. How can I take an existing product and make it 10 times better? Now, you may like him or hate him, but I admire Elon Musk greatly for this idea, the idea around engineering and how it can help life for humanity. His idea is, if you take an existing product, for example, a tunnel boring machine or a space rocket, use engineering to make it 10 times better, or don't even bother doing it. His mindset from the start was, from what I understand from his interviews, how can we make this technology 10 times better? How can I take an existing product and make it 10 times better? I love that line of questioning. Or different question entirely. How can I get the rights to a great product, the licensing rights to a great product? I just came across a new technology. It's not exactly new, but it's 3D printing for producing car parts, the different parts of cars. And if you go to a dealership, if you go to your BMW or Audi dealership, they charge an arm and a leg for different parts of the car. And nowadays with 3D printing, you can do extraordinary things. I'm just amazed by the technologies of 3D printing, of AI, of course, but also of virtual reality. Holograms. Have you seen what they can do nowadays with holographic technology? It boggles the mind. So how can you get the rights to this technology? How can you import it into a different country where it's not being sold or made available? How can I take advantage of globalization and import products to a country where they're not available or not being sold? What product can I invent and sell to millions of people that will make them feel good? This is a question. This is the question that I think her name is Sarah Buckley or Sarah something, who invented Spanx. She started asking herself this new question, quality question. She was selling photocopy machines door to door in, I believe it was in Clearwater, Florida. And she was just getting kicked out from one business or in one building or another. She had her business card be torn in front of her face, and she would get kicked out of these buildings. She was trying to sell these photocopying machines. And one day she woke up and she thought, whose life am I living? This is not my life. And she started asking a different set of questions. Her key question was, dear God, what product can I invent and sell to millions of people that will make them feel good? She invented created Spanx out of that idea. She said, the moment that God gave me that idea, I just ran with it. Because she knew she might not get another chance. She might not get another idea like this, a brilliant idea. So she just made it happen. And then she sent some of her products to Oprah Winfrey. Oprah started raving about it. And the rest is history. I think the company is now worth $400 million, maybe on track to be worth a billion even. He started with her asking a different set of questions, a quality question. Where can I find out more about new business opportunities? Again, I'll say this, who can I partner with? What unique product or service would I like to provide that will be of massive value to the world? I mentioned the idea about who can I partner with because, so my brother-in-law, here's what he did. He spent $25,000 to learn about speaking, how to sell from the stage, how to basically speaker training, 25 grand. And he found somebody who was great at options trading. Now, my brother-in-law doesn't do trading, doesn't understand trading, but he found a person in Australia, Sean, who is a great options trader. He said, look, I know how to do webinars. I know how to set up an online business. And you know all this about options trading. How about we join forces 50-50 and you'll do the speaking and the training and I'll do the customer service and the marketing. Okay, you just show up and say, at one point they were doing $6 million a year from simple webinar presentation, a single simple PowerPoint presentation selling two of his courses, and they did $6 million that specific year. They've done millions and millions of dollars by doing that. So again, what product could you partner with, license, market, sell? Really, you just need to it's a different mindset is what is needed. What unique product or service would I like to provide that will be of massive value to the world? How can I add value to the lives of others and most easily attract abundance? When do I feel the most creative? When do I feel the most productive? Or here's another way, another totally different way of thinking about things. How can I buy a company, no money down, to add a new income stream? Or how can I add a new income stream to a business? So this gentleman I know, Ollie T. Now, Ollie managed my product launch a few years ago. We got, I believe, 400, actually we got 2,000 affiliates on board and 400 of them promoted the affiliate launch. So when we launched, we did $400,000 in sales. Ollie was managing the affiliates for him. And so he learned about webinars, he learned about product launches and affiliates and all of that. He approached a software company. And that software company was doing about $1.8 million a year. And he said, hey, I see what you're doing. It's a good software, but you're not using webinars. How about I run webinars for you, like a separate branch to your company? I'll run the webinars, I'll do the customer service, I'll create the package around it, and we will sell your software via webinars. He took their business from 1.8 million to $6 million, and he negotiated that he would get 50% of the new business generated. The business he was bringing in via webinars, this was software, this was digital, this didn't cost them anything extra. Those extra $4 million in sales from webinars, he got to keep 50%. Again, it's a way of thinking, it's a mindset. Who could you joint venture with? Who could you partner with? How can you get paid to do what you love? Just let your creativity flow and you can come up with hundreds of different business ideas. Now, I want to share with you some questions to help you grow your business. I'll do that next. Bishop, did you want to add anything at this point?
Yeah, it's I was just thinking of so many stories in my personal life from what you were sharing with these questions, because it's so true. Not only will the questions allow you to go deeper and get a better understanding of what's possible, what you can create, and how you can change your life, but by asking these questions too, you'd be surprised at the relationships that come about. And all of a sudden, you get people calling you and connecting the dots for you, right? And so I love the saying that, God doesn't ask us or expect us to know the how, he just expects us to believe, right? I always tell people I don't need to worry about the how. I just need to believe, right? And so everything else happened. So when I was had the call center, um, one of the questions I kept asking myself was, how can we do this different? How can I launch something that's different? How can I provide more value in the marketplace versus all these other centers that are here in California? And so as I kept digging deeper and asking even existing clients at that time of other centers, what are your real pain points? Then we came up with the solution of we will actually do the sales. We'd have the sales team in our center, the tech team. We would also handle the marketing, the majority of the marketing for clients on at our dime, right? No one had ever done that in that industry. And we had people beating our doors down. They're like, who's this guy who's willing to cover the marketing? But of course, we also got the lion's share. So we were a one-stop shop, which others were not. And that grew into a massive, massive company. And that was one of my first offline experiences where we generated a lot of wealth, but it was because I kept asking these questions, and that was what allowed us to be different. Now, yesterday we were on a meeting. I had two meetings yesterday, Mark. One was for the business that you know about in Dubai, that we're launching, and we actually got connected to the royal family and had meetings and stuff like that. It was just very, very powerful because of what we're doing. But then also my live streaming platform, my tech platform, same thing yesterday. I got called by some people that are involved in it, and they're connecting me with, I don't want to say his name, but he's a billionaire guy who's doing certain things with streaming and social selling, but all on the blockchain, decentralized. And they're like, hey, but you have these ideas, Bishop, that I think are more visionary, and I think the two of you need to talk. And so now I'm meeting this other business billionaire guy. They've already messaged me since I've been on today, but it's all because of creating. It's all because you put the belief out there, you provide the value out there. You'd be surprised at the relationships. The Bible says your gifts will make room for you. Your gifts will make room for you. You'll be in front of people you never thought you'd be in front of. You'll be in rooms you never thought you'd be in front of. And to show you guys that Mark and I actually do these questions, you guys know that we have our software coming out. We've already mapped out other additional versions of the software, like long-term plan for the software, which all came about from asking these kind of questions. How can we provide more value? How can we do this? How can we do that? It's already planned out way in advance, you guys, because we take time to ask these kind of questions. So please take this very serious. Raymond said I missed the first 25 minutes. Raymond, I'm going to send out the recording. Don't worry about that. So you'll be able to catch that up.
Absolutely. And you just reminded me of something, Bishop, about uh, God tells us, we don't really need to worry about the how. We
Mhm.
just need to, ask Him it is given, and pray, and follow these spiritual laws that have been laid down from a long, long time ago, of spiritual laws of abundance is what I call them. And it reminds me of this quote, and I don't remember the quotation exactly, but it was this very spiritual person who was saying, all I know to do is to ask or to pray and then to meditate. In other words,
Mhm.
he prays and just, makes a request, he asks for something, and then he just remains in stillness, in silence, and waits for the answer, the solution, the idea to be whispered in his mind. And
Mhm.
maybe it sounds too simple. Really, Mark, what do you want me to do? Just go and sit on a mountain and meditate, and then I'll be rich, then I'll make money? No, but you will get the inspiration, you'll get the idea to trust in God, trust in this higher power, to trust in your inspiration to give you those ideas. And then, of course, you have to take the next step. You have to move forward. You have to make it happen. But it starts with, I believe, with that divine spark, that divine idea. That idea comes from somewhere. And when I
Mhm.
was younger, I used to think that I am creating all my success. I thought, oh, all this great abundance and success and money and all of these things, I did that. And I very quickly realized that we are co-creators. This is something you mentioned very often, Bishop, that we are co-creating. Yes, we are creators, but we are co-creating. It's not just our ego or our power that's making things happen. We are stewards. I'm seeing your name here, Bishop Stewart. We are stewards of this abundance. None of us leave with any of these millions of dollars, pounds, or euros, or yen, or what have you. We are just stewards of this wealth for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's all God's, at the end of the day. And, always just say, hey, thank you for trusting me with this. I don't care if it was $1. Thank you for trusting me with this additional dollar. You know what I mean? So when you realize that it's not yours, you take better care of things, right? If a neighbor drops off their child to you and you're going to babysit, you're going to take care of that child, right? Because it's someone else's. You honor and respect that. But it's funny because when God gives us certain things, we don't look at it that way, right? We start taking advantage of these things and being selfish of these things and thinking it's always going to be that way, right? Like, no, I look at everything like this is not mine. My wife is not mine. My kids are not. These are God's people, right? This is God's child. This is my kids are God's kids. I'm just honored to be the one that's been entrusted with them to nurture them and take care of them and everything. Same with my businesses. I don't run my business. I tell everybody, God is the CEO. I'm just here. I'm honored to be a part of this and honored to be the one that was given the vision for it, but it's not mine. And when you know that and you humble yourself like that, that's when you go to the questions, right? If you're working for your boss, you go to your boss and you ask questions. How do you really want me to do this? How can I do this better? How can I get a raise? Right? But we don't ask those questions in our own business because we're looking at it as us as the boss, right? You should ask questions. How can I do this better? God, this is your business. Like Mark said, we have a whole vision, right? How to help X amount of people in X amount of time. We don't have all the answers, but this was something that was sparked in Mark and I, and we know we're going to fulfill it. Right. When I told people I was going to speak on stages around the world, make over $1 million in a month, I didn't know how. It didn't matter to me how. I knew God was going to fill in the blank, right? He was going to fill in the blanks. When I first met Mark, I literally the person I was dating at the time, and my wife will say the story too, already knew me and Mark were going to work together and have a business together. I had no doubt. We're talking years and years and years and years ago. I literally said it. Oh, he and I are going to work together. We'll launch a business one day. And here we are today, many years later, and we have this business. I felt it. I knew it. I didn't know when. I didn't stress about it. We didn't even talk about it. We were just friends and we spoke on stages together and we've done different things. But now we're actually launching this business. So God took us both through these different journeys to end up here with Wealth Magnetics. And we had to separately go through these journeys to end up here because now we both have our unique stories, skills, experiences, and stuff like that to bring to all of you. And that's why I'm so excited about this. And I think this is going to be such an amazing, amazing journey.
Absolutely. And we needed to have these journeys, I think, to have a deeper understanding of these matters and also how to help people.
Mhm.
Because I can see now the teachings that I share with my students are so much deeper and more deeply and richly layered, let's say, than just what I was saying 15 years ago, just about business, marketing, websites, etc. And you said that we don't have all the answers. I think, Bishop, that between the two of us, like you said, mindset and spirituality is where it's at, and of course a bit of strategy as well, and marketing. But I think we have a large number of the answers here between
Yes.
the two of us and everything that we're offering in Wealth Magnetics, both on the spiritual and law of attraction and manifesting spiritual laws of abundance and marketing and business insights and the mindset as well. Let me just go through a few more of these questions now that are about a business. If you're a business owner, you will want to jot down a few of these questions. 40 quality questions that grow your business. So I've been collecting these questions over the last 20 years. I have these usually for my coaching clients, and it's in the course, in the Wealth Magnetics course. So here's a great question, which has made me millions. It's a simple question, just a mindset. Who could buy or sell a ton of my stuff? Okay, how do you apply that question? It's the idea of a joint venture, for example. So years ago, I did a little workshop about ebook mastery, how to sell ebooks online. So I'd sold about 40,000 ebooks at that point, made a couple of $1 million from selling ebooks. I did a little workshop about it. We filmed it, created a DVD home study course from it, started selling it to my list. And then an entrepreneur who had a list of 6,000 people interested in life coaching specifically. His name was Neil. So Neil approached me and said, Mark, how about we do this deal? I will mail my list. I will send letters, direct mail letters to my 6,000 customers to sell your DVD home study course to them. But you cover the cost of producing the DVDs and shipping it to them. We did, I think, about $60,000, maybe $64,000 from just that simple joint venture. It cost him about $4,000, And we brought in $64,000 from doing that joint venture because he had a list of people a ton of people who could buy my stuff. Who could buy or sell a ton of my stuff? I did that with another 23 joint venture partners. We did over 580,000 pounds in sale. I think 560,000 pounds. Let me correct that. 560,000 pounds from selling a 7 DVD home study course. And by asking that question, who could buy or who could sell a ton of this course? Second question, what is my biggest opportunity right now? What are my most important assets? Am I fully utilizing all my assets? Another great question, would a millionaire choose this? You have an opportunity, you have an idea, someone's suggesting something to you. Ask yourself, would a millionaire choose this? Maybe you're doing some work. Maybe you are, I don't know, cleaning the yard or whatever it is. Would a millionaire choose to do this? Another question, if money weren't an issue, would I choose this? And what would I choose to do instead? Maybe you're doing a job. Maybe you're doing some sort of activity or business that's not very rewarding. What would I do? What would I choose to do instead? Another set of questions. What will produce the easiest? What will produce the easiest result? What will produce the biggest result? What costs the least to implement, but can produce a decent result? What costs the most to implement, but has an uncertain outcome? You got to prioritize ruthlessly. Now, here's a great series of questions. What is the 20% that I do that produces 80% of my results? I asked my wife, what is the 20% that you do, darling, that produces 80% of your results? And she said, nagging. Who knew? Who knew that it was nagging? That's a joke. That's a joke. I hope she can't hear me. What is the 4% that what is the 4% that I do that produces 50% of my results? They found that in most businesses, for most business owners, there's just 4%. That's 20% of your 20%, by the way, if my maths are correct. What is that 4% that you do that brings about half of your results? And how can you do more of that? Another one, who do I need to become to grow my business tenfold? Now, I asked myself that question some 10 years ago, and I got to tell you, I wasn't ready for the answer. The answer was painful. The answer was unbelievably painful because I needed to let go of everything that I was and had before, my mindset before, that got me to $1 million a year success, to get to the next level, to let go of certain illusions I had about money. But that's a whole other story. That's probably the topic of another podcast, another show. What is the one thing that if I achieve that, it makes everything else redundant and unnecessary? This is a very good question. Very, very good question. Ask yourself this on the regular. Who is my target customer already doing business with? Because maybe I can partner with those other businesses. Maybe they can sell my stuff, my products to my ideal target customer since they're already doing business with my ideal target customer. Where does my ideal
and
customer?
that question is important too because I was just up doing this the other night for like 2 hours, which is research, right? Market research. You want to research your market, see who people are already dealing with, but also you get to study what they're doing, right? Like I spent probably like at least 2 hours the other night just doing market research. And so we were going through and we were looking at all the other people that are competitors to something that we have going on. And we were looking at their audience. We were looking at how are they marketing, what type of budgets are they doing, what type of ads are they doing, what are their funnels look like. I mean, we went through the whole thing, right? So entrepreneurs are very good at not reinventing the wheel, but just taking something that's working and how do I expand that? How do I do it better, right? How do I build on top of that? Right? Because a lot of times people are sitting around just trying to figure out how to do something completely new, right? How do I reinvent the wheel and do something completely new? No, take something that's working, right? And how do you do it better? How do you make it more efficient, more effective? How do you provide more value with it? How do you put your own twist on it? Is the way that you really, really create a lot of wealth because one, it's already proven that that market works, right? That is existing. Sometimes people are chasing markets that there's not even an audience for, or people are not even willing to pay for that particular industry or product or service or whatever at that time. So sometimes it's very important to do that kind of market research. So I just wanted to chime in right there because you want to study other people in your industry that have your audience. What are they doing? What does their ads look like? What does their social media posts look like? What is their funnels? So on and so forth. I have a whole spreadsheet of our competitors, and we just spent 2 hours just doing that the other night. So it's very, very important.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Bishop. Uh, so I was saying, where does my ideal customer already hang out? What websites do they read, visit? What social media platforms are they on? What Bishop was just saying just now. Do that research to find out how you can get in front of them. And how can I do this without spending any money? That's also a good question to not spend money unnecessarily. If you can do something more cheaply or even for free to get the same result business-wise, why not? How can I do this this is the opposite, by raising a lot of money? How can I scale things up by raising money from investors? How can I raise $250,000 to launch my business? How can I raise $5 million? That's a really good quality question. What company would be a perfect fit for a joint venture or even a merger, a cross promotion? What companies have my ideal target customer on their mailing list already? What is the number one question I get from my clients to find out what their number one problem is? Sometimes you're serving your customers in one area and you think that's really what they need. They might. I mean, in my business, I kept growing my business by listening to what my clients were asking me for. How can I provide more solutions to 10 times more people? What are the 3 biggest problems that my prospects have? What is the expected end result they want? And we've seen some of these questions. What brilliant product can I get the rights to or the license to? I've done this many times. I've made quite a few hundreds of thousands of dollars from just licensing existing products and then bundling them together with mine, selling them individually, or like I said, selling them together. You can license products. You can license software tools. You can license courses, technology. What is missing in my industry? What isn't being done? How can I leverage media buying, online advertising to grow my business? How can I leverage affiliates? What can I offer that is different to everyone else? What can I do once and get paid for the rest of my life? How can I build a company that I can sell? This is also an excellent quality question as a business owner. One of the things that I learned a long time ago is that you make more money when you sell your business than by running it. And it might not be it's a rule of thumb. It might not be valid in every single scenario, but in many scenarios, you make more money selling your company than running it. What company in my industry would I love to buy, or would I love to buy my company in the future? What is the number one thing I can do to really scale my business? How can I buy a company, no money down, to scale my business more rapidly? Ask, and then this is more about your relationship with your employees. You can ask them, what is truly important to you? What gives your life meaning? Or ask your team, okay, team, what worked today? What didn't work? What can we do better? Why are we building this? For whom are we creating this? Ask yourself bigger, better, bolder questions. How can I serve my nation? I like this kind of thinking. I like the idea of thinking bigger than you've ever thought possible. How can I serve my nation? Why not? Why not? You know, we were discussing this with Bishop the other day about how most people don't ever allow themselves to think big. Just think big. Bishop has always said to me, if this person can be a billionaire, why can't I? I can be a billionaire too, right? It's a mindset. Allow yourself the opening, allow yourself allow yourself to dream big, is what I'm saying. How do we spend no money and grow the business 30% in the next 3 to 6 months? This is a question from Tony Robbins. How do we spend no money and grow the business 30%? That's a great quality question. What is the most important thing that we can and should be doing? Another great quality question for a business. Some more quality questions that I enjoy. How can I do what I love and be magnificently paid for it? What would I love to do today? What would I love to do with my life? By the way, what I would love to do today and what I love to do with my life is exactly what we're doing right now. So this is pretty cool. Yes. When you receive 100 grand, instead of spending it, ask yourself, how can I invest it wisely so as to double this amount to 200,000? This is, again, is a quality question that millionaires ask themselves, or people with a millionaire mindset ask themselves, as opposed to what most people think, okay, I got 100 grand, how can I spend it? Right? On a daily basis, ask yourself, what worked in moving towards wealth building and my financial goal? What didn't? Jordan Peterson said, ask yourself, what is it I can do to set things more right today? Another quality question, last one. Would I have paid someone else $50 to have done that hour? If the answer is no, perhaps you should be doing something else with that hour. Build up to being paid $50 an hour or more, $100, $200, $500 an hour, whatever your level is at. You might ask yourself, okay, would I have paid somebody $200 an hour so I would have freed up that hour of my time? Remember, your biggest resource is your own resourcefulness, and you become more resourceful by asking better questions. And that's it from me.
Yeah, there's a great book called Become a Master Asker. I think it's by Charles Neiman, and that's what it's talking about. Like, become a master asker, right? Like, even if you look at it from a spiritual standpoint, a lot of people pray and they don't even ask things, right? And they're not specific, right? There's a funny joke about that where someone says, "Hey God, I've been up and I've been praying for to make more money and to have more money, etc." And then God's like, "Yeah, remember that extra dollar you got back the other day?" And the point was, he answered your prayer. You got an extra dollar. But that's the importance of being clear. That's the importance of being specific with your questions. You ask for more, a dollar is technically more. You have to be specific. God, how can I give away an extra $5,000 a month? Right? That's being specific with the amount. If you notice, every time me and Mark talk about our mission, there's a specific number of people. It's not just a thrown out number, it's specific, right? So you got to be very, very specific when you're going through these questions and you're asking yourself these questions. Another thing that I really, really love to think about and ask as well is, when you look at all these things, what is the outcome of each one of these questions, right? So you have observation, right? These are the stages of these questions. You have observation, which is what's happening in the world. So what's the outcome when you go through this exercise that Mark is talking about? The outcome for that is awareness, right? So then you have another stage, which is service, which is more about how can I help? How can I serve people? And go through those lists of questions. What's the outcome? The outcome for that is purpose. You'll obtain more purpose. And then we talk about your passion, like Mark in one of those questions right now that I saw. It talked about don't just ask about what the world needs, also about what's going to make you come alive, right? That's the passion stage of these questions. What do I love? What do I get out of this? And that's going to give you more energy. That's the outcome. The other one is what am I great at, right? That section that Mark's talking about, that's mastery. That's the stage of mastery, which the outcome is value. It's very important you understand what the outcomes are. Then who can I partner with? That stage is called collaboration. And the outcome on that is going to be leverage. Leverage is a must component of wealth creation. You've got to implement leverage. If you're not getting the kind of results you want to right now in your life, provide more leverage. Figure out how can I get more leverage. Okay, we'll talk about that. That's a whole nother podcast. I have a whole training on leverage. Another one is how can I scale? That stage is called strategy. The outcome is better systems. There's a saying that people fail, but systems succeed, right? You have to have systems in your everyday life, in your business, in your marriage, in your health, right? You have to have a system. And the last one is who must I become, which is probably one of me and Mark's favorite, right? Because if you don't become the person, none of the rest of this matters, right? You have to be the person that can sustain once you reach that certain level. If you're not the right person, it will all collapse again. You have to become the right person that can sustain it and grow it. And so that stage is called psychology. And the outcome of that is transformation, right? So you want to transform, but you also want your clients and the people around you to transform as well. Mark and I, a year from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, as we go through this journey and we're doing big events around the world and we're impacting more people, Mark and I won't even be the same people we are here today. We are in our process of transforming and becoming as well, right? So we're all growing here together with all of this stuff that we're talking about here today. But I want you guys to take those questions very, very serious. And in fact, since we're talking about questions, if you do have a question, you can write it in the chat now. We'll take about 5 or 10 minutes to answer any questions that you guys have. But I can tell you, I ask these kind of questions very, very often. We had a session yesterday about how do we take what we're doing in Dubai, in our company in Dubai, and how do we bring it to the US, right? And impact more people because it's a very big market here. But how do we do that effectively? How do we do it and still stay legal? How do we do it? And blah, blah. So we set up a meeting yesterday. I set up a meeting with someone who's very, very big in the space here in the US, and the whole hour was just us asking questions. It was just questions, and he was firing off solutions. And okay, and then we could partner here, we could do this and that. And it was just a powerful, powerful session yesterday, but it was all just based on questions, right? Um, is it possible to get the document with the questions via Google Drive?
Well, look, Bishop, I'll say this. It's in the course. I'm just sharing this on the screen here. It's in the course Wealth Magnetics, which is available at our website, wealthmagnetics.com. It's here, 46 questions that make you rich. And you can get it in the Wealth Magnetics course. Bishop, while people write down their questions, I just want to share a little bit about the software because
Yes.
I'm very excited. I just recorded this video and I just want to share with people a few things. Is that okay if I
Yes.
share?
Yes, absolutely. And while he's
Great.
doing that, guys, go ahead and write down whatever questions you guys have, and we'll be happy to answer any of those questions for you guys in the chat.
Absolutely. So just very briefly, I mentioned this before, this software, Prosperity Power, flashes your goal, your affirmation, or a program of affirmations, of positive, empowering affirmations, randomly on your computer screen every 5 seconds for just a tenth of a second. So it's too quick for the eye to see. I mean, you can barely just quickly grab it with your, like, visually, but so it's not distracting while you're watching YouTube, whilst you're watching a movie, whilst you're on your email, so working or PowerPoint or whatever else you're doing. And it's reprogramming you thousands of times a day. So I'll give an example here. So imagine, this is what it looks like. I just grabbed it for a tenth of a second, but imagine this flashing for a tenth of a second. Flashing for a tenth of a second like this, but much faster than what I'm showing you, small letters, just randomly on your computer screen, reprogramming your subconscious thousands of times a day for your affirmation. So I did this years ago with the affirmation, I earn 40,000 pounds a month. And after 4 months, I earned exactly 40,000. But it basically quadrupled my income. And then I changed it to I earn 100,000 pounds a month. And I earned 150,000 pounds the next month. I did almost 1.2 million pounds that year and nothing else had changed, by the way. I hadn't learned anything different or doing anything particularly differently. I earned 80 grand one year, and then very next year, 1,160,000 pounds. And all that had changed was that I had created a new identity within myself. So this is coming out, this software, and I just wanted to share with you the following, these couple of stories. This is what it looks like. You just click you select a program, click start, or you click on new and you type in whatever goal or affirmation you have to have more confidence, to be more magnetic, to attract a relationship, to lose weight, heal faster if that's what you want to do. And it looks like this, you know, these are the affirmations, positive affirmations in each one of these programs, but you can create an infinite number of your own bespoke programs. I program myself for the sentence, I earn 40,000 pounds a month. And I would get rewired up to 7,000 times a day. These neural pathways were being formed in my brain between the concept of I, my identity, and the concept of earning 40,000 pounds a month. It's like Marisa Peer, the psychologist, says, the secret to succeeding at anything in life is to make the unfamiliar familiar. Well, guess what? If your subconscious mind is reprogrammed 7,000 times a day for I earn whatever, 20 grand, 40 grand, whatever it is, that becomes so strongly, so deeply your identity, becomes so ingrained inside of you that you now start doing things that are in alignment with the identity of an entrepreneur, of someone who is earning that kind of money.
Right.
And I'm just going to share, Sue, or move forward to this. Anthony Robbins said, now imagine this guy, okay? He was overweight, he was broke, he was living in his car, he was in debt and all that stuff. He said, I used subliminal messages to condition my mind to believe I could succeed. His net worth now is over $600 million. And he says, you can buy a course, but together with that, you've got to condition your subconscious mind. And he shared with us his secret. He said, I used subliminal messages to condition my mind. He used affirmations. He used subliminal messages. Tiger Woods' father was a psychologist for the US Army. He says, from the age of 6 years old, Tiger Woods used subliminal messages every day, feeding his mind a steady diet of positive affirmations. For peak performance, your mind must be trained to peak condition. Right? Most people, they're part of their mind wants to go in one direction, part of their mind is completely sabotaging them. Right? But when you program your subconscious for what you desire, for what you want to achieve, that new identity, things start shifting. Now, Pascal in Dubai said, in April, I installed the software on my laptop. The sentence that I typed in was, by the end of May, I make $10,000. So he's in April and he wants to make 10 grand by the end of May. He said, well, guess what? On May 12th, I closed a real estate deal worth 38,000 Arab Emirates dirham in Dubai in profit. That's a little bit more than $10,000. This guy, Aris in London, he used to work as a laborer, work on construction sites for £7 an hour. He said, I found out about the subliminal software in Mark Anastasi book. I bought it and programmed it. I make 10,000 pounds a month. This message appears it should be every 5 seconds, but he says every 3 seconds on my screen, almost invisible. But as I know, visible for your mind. I don't know. I don't believe in such things. But this month I've made 10,400 pounds. I started selling on Amazon. It's quite strange if this thing can change your life. Samantha Nicholas wrote in saying, I cannot begin to say what a difference the Prosperity Power subliminal software has made. In 48 hours, I virtually turned my life around financially. Another major change is self-confidence. I cannot thank you enough. I had been experiencing a great deal of self-doubt and procrastination, but by Friday night, there was none of that, and I took 3,500 in sales in 3 days. And I felt confident to start again. In fact, I'm raring to go. I'm recommending it to everyone. I could literally see and feel the effects within 24 hours. My confidence, my attitude to money, my attitude to challenges, and low-key depression have all been blasted. This product is brilliant. Okay? It sends messages straight to your subconscious, bypasses your conscious mind, where there's all the limiting beliefs, the inner doubts, the fears. That's where they are in your conscious mind. Well, this software blasts through it. It goes straight to your subconscious. It bypasses the conscious mind that's designed to just keep you alive. Your subconscious mind is programmed through repetition. That's secret number 2. Imagine being programmed effortlessly 7,000 times a day, or thousands of times a day anyway. Your invisible world creates your visible world. Your thoughts, your identity cascades into your judgment decisions, then your actions and results in the physical world that you can see. You've got to go upstream, reprogram your subconscious, and all of this, the results change automatically. And science now proves the power of subliminal messages. So many studies show again and again that students perform better, athletes perform better. My favorite one, positive subliminal messages on aging improves physical functioning in the elderly. It's a study from the University of Yale. That can last for several weeks. They get to see some subliminal messages, and the positive effect on them lasts for weeks after. It's incredible. Can help you learn faster, reverse aging, turbocharge your stamina, and multiply your financial results in the way that I've just shown. Marisa Peer said, how your mind works is to succeed at anything, you've got to make the unfamiliar familiar. I could go on, but anyway, this is something that I've been recording. I'm very excited about this. The mind is what the mind is fed. So that's enough about this. When it's out, we'll let you know about it. Bishop and I are very excited.
We're so close. Yeah, we are so close, you guys, to having this out to you. We've been working day and night on it, and I can tell you guys that we're literally we're literally right there. It's a little bit been a little bit frustrating for us, but we are right there, you guys, to getting it released to you. So stay tuned for that. Also, in regards to some of you guys asked about some of the socials and some of the replays. So some of that is going to be on our let me share the screen here. Some of that is going to be here. Hold on, I'm not sure. Okay, so some of that's going to be on our um, YouTube. So if you guys want to go, we're about to launch this YouTube channel. You can just go to YouTube and put in Wealth Magnetics. And so the website's just youtube.com/at Wealth Magnetics. So we will be posting there. This is where we'll also be doing some of our live streaming for the Wealth Edge. So it's not all done yet, all the branding and everything, but that will be done by Sunday. So you guys can go and follow there as well. Okay, so we will have that coming about for you guys. The last question I'll tell you guys to ask yourself is because it's all about accountability. Like Mark said, you can't just go meditate and everything happen. I always ask myself, would I be paying myself X amount if I had to pay for what I'm doing? So basically, that means if you get up every day and you're doing X, Y, and Z, and you're watching Netflix, you're doing this and that, and you want your clients to pay you whatever amount it is, right? $1,000, $5,000, whatever. Ask yourself, would you pay yourself that amount of money with how you are doing and being with your clients, how you're being with your business, how you're being with your brand? Would you pay yourself that, right? So when I thought about that, and I was like, would I pay myself $50,000, right? Would I pay myself $100,000? Because we had clients that were paying a lot of money, or I wanted to make a lot of money then. And I was like, no, I need to change some of my daily habits, right? And so often, like Mark brought up Elon Musk, who I think is one of our, what's that guy's name? Our Teslas of our time, right? He's just a brilliant, brilliant gentleman. So sometimes I'll sit up and I'll start doing other things. I'm like, what would Elon Musk be doing right now? Or what would Bill Gates be doing right now? Like, would they be just
Elon Musk would probably be, sorry to interrupt, but Elon Musk would probably be out there impregnating somebody.
Right,
So,
right.
no, it's a great question to ask. It's a great question to ask, but make sure that it fits your current lifestyle. And
Right.
I'm
The
just
way
joking.
that these individuals can focus and be
Sure.
so efficient, it's absolutely mind blowing. Like how much they get done, right? Because we all have. I always tell people the difference between people that are okay and the greats is one thing. One is the belief, but number two is time management. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's the people that are just so effective in the world, they have just mastered those 24 hours. They really have honed in on how can I be more effective in 24 hours than the other person. Right. And so I have a whole bunch of training on that because I'm a productivity nerd, if you will. I really just study productivity quite a bit. But I think that's something that we all should do. So I appreciate you guys. Diana, I did answer your question about the replay. So tomorrow, I'll send out an email with a couple of the replays. But then also the YouTube. Follow the YouTube as well. We'll have some replay stuff going on there, but it won't be public. Those will be unlisted. But you guys can also get those. So be on the lookout for the email tomorrow with some of the replays. Lastly, make sure next week when you guys get the email for next week's broadcast, I want to see who can invite the most people, who can bring the most people with them, because these things have absolutely been life-changing for so many people. Mark, an amazing job again today. So definitely appreciate everything you're doing and just love being a co-founder with you here at Wealth Magnetics and excited for the future.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you. And you know what you mentioned about productivity? I think that might be a great topic for one of our shows to talk about that specifically.
Yes, let's do that. Okay, everyone, take care. God bless, and have an amazing, amazing rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Take care, Bishop. Take care, people.